What's up, y'all? And welcome back to Many Thoughts with Dr. T. I have my first cousin with me, Gia. She's going to be our special guest today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey. Hello, my name is Gia, Tanisha's cousin. She is always been like a sister to me too, so we're pretty close. We did have a little gap, but we're back together now.
Yes, we are later in life.
Yeah.
And we are the authority on because we're talking about somebody's son, right? So season 1, episode 3, and we're the authority on this because we both have 3 sons, okay? So we
Yes.
know all the things about the boys, okay?
Yes.
And
I
Gia
really
has
know all the
a
things.
older, a grown son.
Yes, I have an adult child, y'all.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we definitely know all the things. We're gonna give you our opinion on episode 3. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Let me switch our screen up here. Okay. So the first scene, so we pick up with James and Charlease, but well basically all that was they're gonna go do paintball essentially. So then we pick up with our newest guy. So remember, there's 3 guys. We've met 2. This is the third one. His name is Chad with 2 D's. He is 30. He's a financial analyst, and he's looking for a woman to settle down with. Um, he said that guess he's really obviously into maybe he wants to be an accountant, and he's sitting for the CPA exam, and then his dream is to start his own CPA firm. Um, he is still single because he has spent a lot of time going to school, getting various degrees, and just living life. And he's looking for a woman who can push him. So what are your overall thoughts on Chad just from this first scene? What vibes are you getting from Chad?
Um, I feel like Chad is I feel like he's incredibly driven and he wants somebody else that is driven as well and that believes in him and is going to push him, and I think he's going to do the same for whoever he finds. So he just
Yeah,
wants to like, go as far as he possibly can in life. That's what I
gotcha. Yeah,
think.
I read that as well. The first guy, on episode 1, I was getting player vibes. The second guy on it, episode 2, I was getting he might be a little into himself, but so far, Chad, he seems like he's pretty well balanced, so I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
Um, and like you said, I liked his answer that he's looking for a woman that can push him, so I
Hmm.
thought that was good. So,
Yeah.
he knows he needs somebody that can come alongside, help him further his dreams, so I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far so good with Chad. Now I was trying to get a read on the mama. I haven't been able to get a read on the mama from this scene. I know last episode, Mama Charlease, she's a lot, but
Yes.
she seems pretty balanced so far. Was you feeling anything about the mama?
So Chad's mom, I feel like maybe his dad should have came along for this because like it seems like she doesn't really know him that well. Like they're getting to know each other now as he's an
Mm.
adult. So like I think about my boys, like my eighth grade Sakori and
Mhm.
adult. It's like what I'm saying, so much that happens in between that time.
That's
And
good.
she missed it. So she doesn't really know how to pick and choose for him because she doesn't know him herself. That's what I got from
Yes, I like it. I was clocking that too
it.
because, basically, I think he said, yeah, he stayed with her up until he was maybe 12, 13. Then he went to go live with his
Hmm.
father.
Yes.
So, yeah, so clock that because I got something later that might tie into that. So, yeah, I was like, and it's not weird. I mean, I know people co-parent in,
Yeah.
in that way, especially if it's a son. I get
Yeah.
it. But yeah, that's good. She probably did miss his more formative years. She still
Hmm.
So, yeah, I liked it. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so Chad thinks, his mom does not want him to be oh, yeah, so this was interesting. So, the producers asked him, like, "Who do you think your mom will choose for you, or what do you think your mom is looking for?" And Chad was like, he thinks his mom he's like, "Yeah, I think she doesn't want me to be with a woman that's too promiscuous." And she was like, "What? I don't want you to be with a woman that's promiscuous at all." He was like, "I mean,
Oh.
that's not always a red flag," you know what I'm saying? And so I thought that was interesting because most men I know, they want their woman that they're with to have the lowest body count, possible. So for him and unless he just doesn't know the definition of promiscuous, that could be the case too. But yeah, I thought that was odd that he was like, "Oh, I mean, that's not a red flag, always a red flag." And
Yeah.
it's not, but, I've never heard a man say that.
I think what he was like trying to say was he wants her to have fun and be, open
Mm,
to,
if
you
she
know what I'm
lived a
saying?
little
Like he
life
don't want
before
her to
me
be uptight.
okay. If she lived a little
Yeah.
life before me, I'm not gonna judge. Yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha,
That's what I
gotcha,
got from it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's meet these young ladies that Chad is, with here. If I can get my mouse to cooperate. Okay. So oh, yeah, and then that's them beautiful mother. So Miss Page. Paige is 28. She's a business analyst looking for somebody's son to match her hustle. I like the dress. Now, I will say the fashions for Chad, all the women that they picked out were good. The last 2 episodes, I'm not sure what was happening. I thought they were shopping at Rainbow. I don't know what was going but this is
Oh
nice.
man.
I like the hair. I like everything. So let's
Yeah.
see. Paige, she's a sports broadcaster. Um, they both ran track in high school, so they had that in common. Um, Paige is into sports, and she says she can be a tomboy and give off homey vibes, which she thinks that might be an issue while she's still single and she gets friend zoned a little bit. So what was your first read on Paige?
I like Paige. I really like her. She seems I do get the tomboy vibes a little bit just from like how she, like her conversation, like how she carries herself.
Mhm.
But she has that driven part and she's beautiful. And I think, guys like that. Like I look at you like and how you're into sports and stuff. And I
Mhm.
always thought it was really cute when girls are watching, sports and they're like really into it. Like I want to figure it out so I can be into it too. But I feel like she's like, I feel like she is well rounded
Mhm.
to give him that full package. And she's driven herself. So I know she's going to push him and she would be able to, pick up the slack if, you know what I'm saying, if he's trying to
Yeah.
figure his firm out and anything like that. So I think that's really good.
Yes. I am Paige and Paige is me. So I get it.
I saw it. I saw it.
I think that's
Yeah.
so dope that she's a sports
Mhm.
broadcaster. That's super cool.
Mhm.
Um, and the thing I had to learn too, and I learned this earlier on, I was your tomboy. I was doing the big baggy shorts and the big FUBU shirts and
Mhm.
boxers showing. I was doing all of that, until about I would say my senior year in high school. My boyfriend at the time, he had bought me like a little cute, more fitted, tight shirt or whatever. And I had some little cute jeans that I like never wore, but I paired them together and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, oh. So that was when I started to be like, okay, maybe it's okay if I dress a little bit more feminine. Um, but what I do now is I've learned that there's a perfect balance where you can still be sporty and dress sporty, how you're comfortable, but just like sex it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do now.
Mhm.
So especially in from fall to the fall and winter months, whenever you see me out, I'm gonna have on a pair of J's. Like I just am. 'Cause that's how I'm most comfortable. I'm having on a hoodie, but I'm gonna have on some tights. You know what I'm saying? So it's a way
Mhm.
that you can
Yeah.
make you can still be comfortable, but it don't gotta be, big baggy, jogger
Mhm.
pants, a big old hoodie, you know what I mean? You can still so I think that's just the balance that she has to learn, but I think she looks great, right
Yeah,
here.
she's beautiful. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I think she seemed like she had a good head on her shoulders and she was well balanced.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So that was Paige, and then next we met Miranda. So
Okay.
Miranda is 30. She's an HR manager and she's looking for somebody's son to love unconditionally. So Miranda says she's very picky and can easily spot red flags. So that's why her friends tell her that she might be having a hard time because she is picking out
Mhm.
everything. She also has a hard time separating her personal life from her human resources job. So in HR, you're always putting out fires. And so she may be used to just being like that in a relationship and looking at it more as a task more than the relationship part of it. And then okay, so yes. So what do you and the dress is cool. It's okay. I loved her hair. Very pretty girl. So what are your thoughts on Miranda?
Um, I don't
Just from this
know.
first this first little, interaction he had with her.
I don't know. She wasn't my favorite. She's pretty and
Mhm,
and everything. But like with his personality, I don't know. I feel like he needs somebody
mhm,
to help bring his personality out, and she was just kind of sitting there, just cute and pretty. Not to say that she's
mm,
not fun or anything, but
yeah,
I don't think they would be like a good match.
gotcha. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um, in this first scene, Miranda mentions that he needs to pour her a lot of wine. Um,
Yeah.
so clock that, okay? I was like
Okay.
and then the
Yeah.
mama was like, "Oh, so you like to drink."
Mm. Uh-huh. Yeah, I
So
did.
let's just clock that real quick,
Mhm.
okay? But I figured, what, she nervous, so it's cool, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, couldn't get too much of a read on Miranda just quick, but I think she is pretty, but I'm
Yeah, she's
wondering
pretty.
anytime it's somebody that, is very picky, that can be problematic because then that can lead to nagging, later later
Mhm.
on.
Yes.
So
That's true.
so that's Miranda. Then we met, let's see, her name is Lauren.
Mhm.
Let's see. Here. Yeah. So Lauren is 35. She's a hairstylist and she's looking for somebody's son to start a family with,
Okay.
which I get it, but I don't that shouldn't be your whole reason for being somebody with somebody because you want to start a family. I understand. But yeah. So she is so I didn't get too much of a read on her. The first thing I noticed is that she's 5 years older than him, so I feel like she's definitely going home. I don't th I
Yeah.
th and, we do see men dating older women, but it's rare. Most of the time, a
Mhm.
man wants to pull a woman that's younger than him. So, she's gonna have to really have some other qualities that are irresistible to him, I feel, for him to pick her. So, what was your first read on Lauren?
My first read, she was pretty. She does stand out, from the other girls. Just I guess maturity. Um,
Mhm.
and she mentioned, my biological clock is ticking, so you know, she may want to start a family a lot quicker or sooner than he
Mm.
might be ready to, because he's just getting out of schooling and everything. Like he wants to live and
Yeah.
work probably, and she might not feel like she has time for all that. So just for that reason I feel like maybe it would be a good a good match. But
Mhm.
I think she's beautiful. I think she's you know she seems successful and everything. I don't know if she would like push him to be great. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't get that driven. She may be, I don't know,
Ah,
but I don't get that like I get it from Paige.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point. I didn't think about the biological clock thing because she 35,
Mhm.
so she need to be having kids, like, yesterday. They still got a
Yeah.
date for maybe a year and a half, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Right.
They probably gonna take you another year after that to, have be in the engagement period, get married, so that's gonna put her
Mhm.
about 37, and that's
Yep.
if he's on it and serious, but, most time guys, they they gonna drag their feet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that could
Mhm.
be scary. I didn't think about that. She's gonna really be putting pressure on him,
Mhm.
to hurry up. "Come on, why I thought we was good, like, why you haven't proposed to me yet? Why?" The yeah,
Yeah.
that could be problematic. I didn't think about that angle of it.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so before the last lady comes, let me pull up this right here. So before the last lady comes in, they have a quick scene where they ask Chad if he drinks, and he says only socially, not when he's just lounging around the house. And then Miranda says he definitely needs to have a glass of champagne or wine. Um, and then again, the mom clocked that. Again, this is number 2 when we're talking about drinking with Miranda. So what did you think about that?
Um, I guess I know for myself, like I have to make sure that, like I want to be on my P's and Q's, like if I need to be. I can't be drinking and doing that. So maybe
Oh,
he just doesn't trust himself to, loosen up too much and with everything going on, and he has to bring his mom out, and
oh, that's a good point.
so he
That's a
just
good
wants
point.
to, yeah. And maybe Miranda, she's like, you seem a little stiff. You need to loosen up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because he does. You can tell he's nervous, and like you can see, he doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't look like
Mm.
it. Yeah.
That's good, that's good. So for me, my pet peeve is, and this is why this stuck out for me because this really bothers me. I do not like when people bully other people or peer pressure other people to drink.
Mm,
I think that's just so
okay.
rude. And if I'm out and I see that happening, if somebody's like, "Why you not drinking?" I'm like, "Oh, they don't have to drink. It's fine." I'm like, "Why are you worried about what other people are drinking and not drinking?" You know what I'm saying? People
Mm,
have their own
yeah.
reasons, and, I know that when you go out and you have it in your mind, like, "I'm not gonna drink," for whatever reason, maybe you just don't drink, maybe you just don't wanna drink that particular time. I know the anxiety when you go and you're like, "Oh, Lord, they're gonna ask me why I'm not drinking, and I gotta say," you know what I mean? And I don't
Mhm.
like people that have that pressure, so I wasn't feeling that from Miranda. Well, you need to
Yeah.
have, some wine, and, he just said, like, "Yeah, I don't really drink like that." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay, I got you, that makes sense." I
Mhm.
just yeah. So,
Yeah.
Miranda, that's 2 strikes from Miranda on my list. Um, and not only that, she also said something like, she talked about how, yeah, because once you hit 30, that liquor hit different. It take me a whole week to recoup. And I was like, "What?" Now I know she's being facetious, but still, it's like, how much are you drinking where it takes you, like, all this time to recoup? So, I don't know.
I mean, if
I
you
don't know.
looked at the pictures when they were like showing like little pictures of them out, it looked like she was in that type of environment to drink. So it looked like she might be a
Mm,
party girl. She might, so
mm.
and
That's a
her
good
being in
point.
human resources, she always has to be together. So whenever she's not at work, she's probably, you know,
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. She probably
yeah.
just lets her hair down. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
so
that might be what it
Miranda
is.
might have a small drinking problem, I don't know, but, but okay, so then we finally meet our last lady, who is Miss Jasmine. Jasmine is 26. She's a student looking for somebody's son to plant roots with. Okay. And let's see what Miss Jasmine was saying. Let's see. Yeah, so I like the dress. It was cute. She had the little ballerina type dress going on, so I thought that was cute. I'm not sure about her being a student. He's
Mhm.
very, well established in his career, so I don't know how that'll play. What did you feel about Jasmine?
So she's, still trying to figure her life out and everything, which is normal, is cool. But I feel like because he likes the way that she looks, she's beautiful. She has this like bubbly kind of,
Mhm.
but it's like sophisticated bubbly. I don't know. It's something about her. That even the other girls even felt it. Everybody felt it, you know.
Oh, yeah, because when she went in, they
So
were like, "Oh, we're gonna lose. They look
yep.
so good together."
Hmm. Yes. So I think that he's going to gravitate towards her more off of who she is and not what she has going on, which I think is a good thing. But if it's really important for him to have somebody that's driven, I don't think she's gonna be the one to push him because she has to push herself.
Mm,
She needs to focus on herself, and she's gonna need somebody to push her. So maybe they can just take turns pushing. I don't know if he's
yeah,
okay with that, but
and
I
she's a
do
lot
think.
younger, so she probably won't be so pressed to rush
Mhm.
things.
Yeah, I just hope that it's not like a situation where she would deplete him, because of what she needs, and then he finds himself,
Mm.
pouring into her, and then it just takes a longer time for her to be able to pour into him.
That's
So,
a good point, and I was almost thinking the opposite where I probably just watch too much reality TV, but sometimes when you are young and you don't know who you are, you don't know yourself, you're with an older gentleman, if they're not a good person, they could take advantage of that. They could
mhm,
manipulate. She could lose herself and her identity becomes him. You know what I'm saying? So
mhm,
yeah, Jasmine just has to watch out for that, you know, and that she
yeah,
just doesn't know where she's going and what she's doing. She gotta, I just want to make sure she's just focused on that and not that she gets so wrapped up into him and he takes advantage of that and like, well, we about to be doing this, we about to be over here, and he's just running the whole thing. And she's so young,
right.
she doesn't really have her voice. So anyway, I made up a whole scenario.
That's a good
But
point. That's a good point.
okay. So then let's see. So we meet all of the ladies, and then let me go to this scene again, just so we can see everybody. So again, Miranda mentions she needs her second drink. So that's 3 times that she's mentioned it, right? So when she first came
Mhm.
in, she was like, "Oh, yeah, you need to pour me something," and then she's getting on him about how he's not drinking, and now she needs a second drink, so and then, Paige in the green. So I was rocking with Paige until she said this, and I'm still rocking with her, but my eyebrow was a little raised when she was like, in the real world, if she feels like her man is showing attention to other women, her competitive side will come out and she might have to like crack her knuckles or whatever. So
Oh.
and you might have overlooked this. I mean, what was your take on this? You might not have a take on it, and that's fine, but
I
I
just
can go first.
think I just think that some people are more territorial than others, and that little conversation, I don't know if it was them or another group, but they were talking about, I think it was them. If you see somebody from your past, like you better fist pump, or like ain't
Oh,
no
yeah, that's
hugs,
coming up,
ain't no
yeah.
none of that. So yeah, I don't know. That just shows like their insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't
Mhm.
trust your man or you don't feel confident in yourself that they can't speak to somebody else or acknowledge somebody that they've known before you or longer than you, that's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to live my life like that. I don't. I just don't.
And listen, I have never and will never fight over now
I
man,
know,
okay?
right? If you got to
So
do
I was
that,
like,
you can have
"Paige,
them.
never
Yeah.
will I ever, like, no." And some women get off on that, like, "Oh, okay, bet, I
Mhm.
will." No. And you know what, ladies? And it comes from and I'm being funny, but I'm not being funny. Like, I always just felt like I'm dope. like, I'm such a dope person. I feel like every woman, you gotta feel like that about yourself or you're gonna get taken
Mhm.
advantage of, right? I know
Yeah.
I'm dope. I know whatever guy gets with me will be so lucky. I'm so gonna elevate his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just
Mhm.
like, they're the lucky one. You know what I'm saying? So I never if I was with a guy and something wasn't going right or he was I just wash my hands of it. Like, okay, cool. My husband, this is a true story. Like when probably the first 3 months we were dating, his ex tried to like sliver her way back on in, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, hey, it's no hard feelings if you want to do that. We're not about to be doing no back and forth type of thing. But I'm not mad, no hard feelings. It was great to know you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna see my way out, you know? But I wasn't about to be fighting for nobody's love. So be careful, Paige. Maybe she was just trying to be funny. All right. Okay, so the next scene, so we switch from them and we go back to James and his group. So the ladies are going to play paintball and they're each going to take a turn being on James's team. And
Mhm.
whoever, I guess what they're supposed to be doing is to work on their communication. Okay, so
Mhm.
whoever has the best communication will win a date with James at the end of the night. So they'll get some more one-on-one time. Um Don't know who idea this was. I think it was a terrible idea. I don't know. I'm just like, there are so
Uh,
many other things you could have done to work on communication.
yeah.
So you want me to try not to get hit and shoot and try to tell him something and
Yeah.
terrible idea. But I mean, what do you what do you think about this activity, I guess, that they're supposed to be
Um,
doing?
I agree. I think they could have done something better than this.
Maybe
Something
salsa
that
or dancing or something. I don't know.
I don't know anything but this because
Yeah.
this is like chaotic. Like you
What were they
know,
supposed to learn or get out of this?
I don't know. I don't know. But I could tell what's her name, Alicia. She was worried about getting hit because she was just like, "Look, I ain't.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard it hurts and it leaves bruises, and
Yeah, yeah, that's what I heard too. Have you done it before?
I've never done it. I've never done it.
Me either, but I have heard it hurts, and that's why I have not done it, but so I was
Exactly.
with her on it. I would've been a little nervous.
Yes.
Okay, so first up is James and Alicia. So they started off with a good game plan. He was like, "Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Imma put the pressure on him. That way you can get away." So I was like, "Okay, cool." And then they never talked again. Alicia looked completely lost on what to
Yeah.
do, to your point. Maybe she was more concerned about getting hurt.
Yeah. She didn't want
Um,
to get hurt.
and even the mama was like, "Dang, they're not talking about anything. Are they even talking?" Um, and you know what was funny to me is that she said she played Call of Duty,
Hmm.
which is for you guys that don't know, that's a game that's like a shooter game, that a lot of guys play. Um, and so he was like, "Oh, she played Call of Duty, shoot, so she gonna be in here with me."
Hmm.
And afterwards, he was like, "Yeah, I was completely shocked and let down. I can't believe she plays Call of Duty." And you know what? And I don't know, Alicia, but I'm thinking that she might have put some cap on that. She might have played it like once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she might have picked up the controller, but
Yeah, you don't
yeah,
play Call of Duty. You played it
yeah.
once. So yeah, James brought that up. He was kind of shocked by it. I guess it rose his expectations. So
Mhm.
so that was them. Then next was James and Sabrina.
Mhm.
Okay, so they went next and he was actually surprised on how well she could shoot. I was confused because I thought they were on the same team.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, why does she? We need to watch your back on her because she'll turn on you. That's the first thing I thought. I was like,
she shot him.
Okay, so it wasn't just me, like, I had to rewind it. I was like, "I thought y'all were going against the other team, like, why was you
Yeah.
shooting him?"
Yeah, I don't know that what that was
Maybe
about.
we don't understand how paintball work. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe
She
she was confused. May that could have been it too. But she was like, "Yeah, I'm a good shot. Yeah." And he was like, "You shot me in the butt and the ankle." So, yeah, maybe she was confused on what was supposed to be happening.
I don't know. She seems like really quiet, so it's kind of hard to get a read on her.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and they didn't do too much talking either. Again, I don't blame them because this was a bad idea. But then next we had, James and Brevon.
mm,
Brianna said, "I don't know what y'all know, but, I'm about to win this competition.
uh-huh.
Imma barely be playing. Imma just be talking the whole time."
Right. Cause she
So, I
gonna talk. If she don't do nothing else, she gonna
right,
talk.
and that is true.
Mhm.
She's like, "This is right up my alley." So they definitely did the most communication, like I said, mainly
Yeah.
because Brevon was determined to win. Because James I think she said James was so into it, he just forgot about the communication. He was just trying to, like she was like, "Yeah, so come right, come left, 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 left." She was just saying stuff.
Uh-huh. That's what I'm saying. She didn't seem like she was making no sense. She was just talking. Because it sounded good. It sounded like she was doing something. Hmm.
So, in the end, Brevon did win, and so she's gonna win the date with James. Um, wait for it, mixology date at the house. I was like, "What? They can't go nowhere?" I don't know what the deal is with these dates because even, like, the photo shoot thing that they had on the last episode, I think,
Hmm.
I thought they were gonna go somewhere and do a photo shoot. You know what I'm saying? I thought they were going to a big studio and they were going, like
Yeah.
or in a park, and I'm like, "Okay, the budget must be low." I get it,
I
okay.
was gonna say that. Oh,
Okay,
it
so
is a
we
big,
did
nice
that.
house. It's a big, nice
Yeah,
house.
it is a very nice house, it is a nice house. But I'm like, "Dang, is everybody else gonna be listening or looking," you know, or
Hmm.
Okay, so that's the end with James. So then we pan back over to Chad and his mom. So at this point, his mom comes out. Of course, they're all surprised, and they're gonna do the activity where they put all the questions in the jar, and she's gonna pick different ones out and allow them to answer. Which I love this. I think this is like a great idea. It'll probably be weird, a little bit more pressure if it's if our sons it's just like one person.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh. It's like an interview. Yeah.
yeah, but I like it though. I really do like it. This is a good activity.
Hmm.
So let's see what our first question was. Our first question was, what would you do if your partner asked for a prenup? Um, so what would you do? What's your thoughts on prenups?
I think if I feel like if the person is already successful or,
Mhm.
is on that track before they even meet and get to know each other, I think it is important. But I think if y'all are starting from the ground and building up together, you know, not
Right.
so much.
All right, like what you gonna
Yeah.
take? My car? Like what? I don't got nothing.
Right. We build it together. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you too. My overall thoughts, I just think like that we're one. Like
Mhm.
it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like you said, the only time I could see that is if like you said, you're later in life, maybe your 40s, 50s, 60s, you have a vast amount of wealth, then I can kind of see protecting some of that. So the first person that answers is Miranda. Miranda, she does a little bit too much. She should have just stopped with, I work at a law firm and I've seen the uglier side of that. So because of that, and then go into her answer. But then she had to say that and she could have been joking. I don't think she was joking, but she was like, "Yeah, Imma probably have a secret account somewhere with, with a stash of money."
Yeah.
And the mama was not feeling it. The mama
Yeah.
held on to that. So what do you think about Miranda's answer?
Um, I think that's something she could have kept to herself. just that part.
Mhm.
I do remember, being a kid watching movies and, just seeing in the movies how, things go left and the woman do be like, out and don't have nothing, or she
Yeah.
may did put something to the side or whatever, but
Mhm.
I don't think she should have mentioned that. But that's just my opinion. I think it's smart, but I think she could have just left that out.
And this is the thing, when you're meeting with your significant other's parents or just people that are important to him for the first time, it's a dance, it's a balance. You need to be authentically you, right? And be real, but you can't do too much because, people that care for this young man, they're looking for red flags, right? Like they are searching. So you can't give them any. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the opposite, honestly. I think you need to be your full true self,
Yes.
and if it ain't right, if it ain't meant, it just don't work. Because I honestly think we need to do love on the spectrum, because they are just cut straight to the point. Oh, you're
Uh-huh.
blind. This ain't gonna work. Oh, you like pets? You want kids? Oh no, I can't do that. And it's just they don't waste no time. They don't, straight to the point. So that's just something that I think it saves time and energy, because you don't want to be putting yourself into something, and then years go by and then you realize, okay, this isn't going to work
Yeah.
because of this, and we could have figured this out in the very first month or first date, for real. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
I agree, and I'm not saying be fake. I'm just saying you might not give all of yourself right
yeah.
from the beginning because people might take you the wrong way. For example, the first thing, if I was the mama and I see Miranda, I'd be like, "Oh, she's a drinker. I'm done." And that may not she may be a great person, may have it all together. She could have been joking about all
Yeah.
of that. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you gotta be
Mhm.
careful. You don't want people to spot something and write you off, when maybe that's not even who you are. So you just gotta be
Yeah.
careful. For me, I know, I'm never serious. I'm a joke all day, every day. But when I'm meeting people for the first time, I'm still myself. I still might say a little something, but I don't go too far because they might get
Right.
offended because they don't know me. They thought I was being serious when I
Mhm.
wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah.
So I see, and I see what you're saying as well. We both agree that she probably should have left that part out.
Yeah, she definitely
Now,
could let that out.
yeah. Now, if this was the fifth time she was meeting his mom, and the mom knows her and knows maybe she jokes and stuff like that, then
Mhm.
maybe it would have landed a little bit better. But not
Yeah.
the first time, Miranda.
Yes. I agree.
So then Paige, I thought Paige had a really good answer. So Paige was saying like along the lines what we said. She believes that you should be all in and you should commit without having any conditions or stipulations. And I was feeling that. So what do you think? What do you
Yeah.
think about Paige's answer?
Um, that's old fashioned, and I think, you know, I like I said before, it's kind of, if you both have something to bring to the table and become one, I think that's good. But if one person is doing, have a lot more going on than the other one, not so much, that's why I think, but if the
Yeah,
love is truly there and you really, trying to do this for the long haul, I think it should be that way.
yeah,
I
yeah,
do. I
yeah.
do. But
I agree.
things do happen, and you don't want to mess around and have to give up half of something to, and they
Yeah,
didn't
that's true.
put in on it or go
Yeah.
through the mud with you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Paige said that she not signing no prenup. So okay,
Yeah.
so then the next question was, so this one was actually for Chad, which I thought was different.
Mhm.
So she asked him who should be the breadwinner in a relationship. And so Chad says he's an alpha male. And if his woman is earning more than him, he's gonna try to step it up so he can be the main provider. So what did you think about Chad's answer?
I think that it sounds like him because he's driven and he wants
Mhm.
to, he wants to be the man's man,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you, I've seen it a couple times, and when women are the breadwinner, it takes away from the man being the man of the
Mhm.
household,
Mhm.
because she may feel like, you know, I I do everything, or I do, more than you,
Yeah.
so you need to do what I say. Which is not even like that, you do what I say or whatever, but it's just the dynamic of the household and the family changes sometimes when it's,
Mm.
unless the woman just really respects and, allows him to
Mhm.
be the man that he, you know, is trying to be.
Yeah, yeah. You make a good point. I like his energy, and I like that he's like, yeah, I'm gonna always be trying to, be the provider, and so I do like that. I will caution though, and to your point, I think this goes for both people, but especially for Chad, you just have to be careful because, what if I'm a VP at my job and I'm making 300,000? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you gonna treat me different? Are we gonna be in competition? To your point, are
Mm,
you not gonna feel like the man anymore? Are you gonna try to dim
yeah.
my light? That's a lot of money. That's hard to make that much money. So what if you never could make more than me? You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
Does that change our dynamic? So I do like his drive. I like that he because you want your man to want to get up and work and provide. Um, but you just gotta make sure that his whole being isn't in the money because
mm,
situations can change.
right.
Um, and on another token, what if he gets injured or something and he is out of work
Mm-hmm.
for a couple months, or like we know life is just you never know what life is gonna what curveballs life is gonna throw you.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, so you just gotta love that person for who they are. You gotta really make sure you respect each other and it's not based on money and who is making more and less, because that can change like that. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? So
yeah.
I was ah and I always get scared when somebody labels themselves an alpha man. That's like alarm, alert, alert. So that scared me very much so. 'Cause and
Oh,
then, with what he said, I was like, "Oh, no." So if he's not, making the most money at all times, I wonder how
mm,
he would act, you know? Yeah, so that's my take on that. And at the end of the day, like I said, if you just have a joint account, it don't matter who making more and not that it's
right.
all going into one, who cares? But I
Mm-hmm.
think that is something that's very important to him. So I think that's a conversation that he'll have to have just to make sure, like, so what happens if the dynamic changes?
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay. So anything else with that? I'll move on to the
No.
next question. And this was, what are boundaries you expect from your partner? And I think this is what you were alluding to a little bit earlier. Um, And so
Oh.
Lauren, yeah, that's when Lauren was like, "Yeah, you shouldn't be, hugging or greeting any, I guess, person of the opposite sex. You just need to get them a high five or pound." I don't know if she was being funny. It didn't seem like it. It seemed like she really meant it, but maybe she was trying to do a joke or something. What'd you think about that?
I just think it's silly. Like, I don't know. I know that, throughout your life, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be working with different people. You might have exes, you might have
Mhm.
old family friends, classmates. Like, I should not have to, if I get excited or if somebody else is excited to see me and I'm just like, oh, like, no hugs, like, like, it's weird. It's weird. Like, and that's just because I know you're right here. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Mm,
and then if I do make a mistake, if we, if that's our agreement, and I do make a mistake and go in for a hug, then we have to talk about this the ride home, or got an attitude, or it's just too much. Like, I don't like it.
yeah, I agree, I agree.
It might
And I
just be
think
because I'm naturally a hugger, so I don't know if I'm just.
no, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on this. It was so funny when me and 'cause this happened to me when me and my husband, we were, like, early on, early, first dating even, um, and I remember we were at church, and I was fairly new to the church, so, you got, like, a new girl, new woman at the church, all the guys are like, "Who's that?" You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I started dating my husband, and, this other guy was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And he gave me a hug, I ain't thinking nothing of it. And my husband pointed out that, like, dang, that was kinda like a full body hug, you know what I'm saying? So that's when I learned the difference between you gotta do the church one-hand hug or like a two-hand hug. So I think long as you're doing like the one hand type of thing, I think it's fine for the most part. Like, "Oh, hey, yeah, yeah," So, yeah, so I'm with you. I don't think it's a big
That's
deal
too
if
much
she's
thought,
making it.
but I get it though.
I mean, naturally, you're not gonna hug but you're a hugger, maybe you do, but naturally, you're
Yeah,
not hugging somebody like, you know what I'm saying, with both of your arms on them, like,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
normally are gonna be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
hey,"
it's like
lean to the side.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and a little pat pat.
exactly. So I don't know, maybe she's had some trauma with this, or she's been with guys that she didn't trust.
Possibly, possibly.
Yeah, and it is like out of all the things she coulda thought of when you're talking about boundaries, and they are being put on the spot, as well, so I get but I wouldn't have thought of that one. For me and my husband, our big thing is we just try to limit, consistent communication with the opposite sex. So that's like if you're at work, well, I always go out to lunch with Sue, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, okay,
I'm not
okay.
saying you can't ever, but it shouldn't be like you're always doing this
Yeah.
one thing with this person of the opposite sex. It's too much
Mm.
communication, then you start confiding, and things can go wrong. So that's what we try to do.
Okay.
Is there any boundaries that y'all do?
Um. No, I just think it's just a respect there.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna do anything that would make him look any kind of way, whether he's there or not. Like, I always,
Mm,
have integrity in my relationship. So, and I trust the other person. I'm not the type of person that's gonna, be tripping about little things, or, looking for things and stuff like that. Like, it's too much. It's too
yeah,
much.
you're right, you're right. And, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like, let's just have respect for each other.
Mhm.
Period. I think when you're younger, I think you get into all these rules and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I had to take a point off on my girl, Jasmine. She didn't even have an answer, and she just comes off she reminds me
She's
of myself, like, when I
young,
was much,
man.
much younger, just more shy, kinda
Mhm.
insecure, like, because every time she laughed, she was like so I just
Yeah.
think and she's young too, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But she was like, I can't think of anything." So, I thought she was about to go home because of that, but she it didn't seem like she was talking much.
Yeah.
But you never know what production is doing or what they're showing us, but it just didn't seem like she was,
Mhm.
saying too much. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I think she's young. She just gotta have time to figure her life out. I don't think she's really ready to be in a relationship. I think she needs to live a little more.
yeah, agreed, agreed. So then that was the activity. So then the next thing they did was they were going to, so him and his mom, they went to talk about, what they were seeing. So let me get that. So this is what they came up with. So Paige, so remember Paige was the one in the green dress, the one that was more sporty. So they both agreed that that's his first choice. So he said that was his first choice. They have a lot in common. The mom was concerned that she's an alpha female. Um and I mean she was a little bit more assertive. But again, that alpha term, I don't know. I don't know. Paige was pretty cool to me, like, when she was doing the
Mhm.
cracking the knuckles thing, that I kinda seen, like, another side there, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so the mom says she's an alpha female, but Chad says that just means that if he's not stepping up to the plate, that she may take the lead.
Mhm.
So I don't know if he's seen that as a positive or negative, but that's what he said with that. So overall thoughts on Paige?
I agree with how Chad looks at it. But I do see what the mom sees. It's the
Mhm.
driven part, and that's what he wants. He wants somebody that's driven. So it
Yeah,
comes off as her being dominant, but that's just her taking care of business. And
yeah.
I do feel like she can have a softer side, but
Mhm,
she
mhm.
has to feel safe and comfortable enough to be feminine. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
as long as he provides that safety and that comfort for her, I think she can relax a little bit. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I see what they both see though. But I like them
Yeah,
both.
and yeah, I like Paige a lot too, and at the end of the day, you gotta marry your best friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that other stuff, and they helping me in business, and that's
Yeah,
cool, but you gotta live your life with this person.
exactly. Yeah,
So you wanted to be somebody that, you can let your hair down around, they cool, they love you just for you, not
right,
for your hair or your body or because you got that degree or whatever. They
right.
really love you for you. Y'all can kick it, y'all can watch shows, y'all can talk about sports. And so she
Mhm.
seems like she just would be dope. She would be super cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Um yeah, I still can't quite get a read on Chad yet though to kinda see what he might what his personality is. I don't
Yeah.
know. Is it just me? It just seems like he's always just like,
No, no, I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
either. He seems like he needs to live a little too, because he's just been so structured and accomplishing all his goals. I don't think he really knows what he enjoys or what he really, what he likes to do for himself.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so he needs somebody that is, open to helping him, figure that out.
Right,
And
right.
so that's what I think. But he does seem a little, I don't want to say uptight, but he just seems like he needs to relax a little. That's what Miranda saw, and that's why she kept trying to get him to loosen up with that drink.
Yeah, I can't tell if that's just who he is because some people are just more buttoned up or if he's putting on, but I'm sure we'll definitely be able to tell in the next couple episodes probably.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Miranda, they both think Miranda is cool and goes with the flow. The mom was concerned about her comment about hiding the money. But Chad doesn't seem to think that's a red flag. So, what do you think about Miranda
I
overall?
want to say I don't really. She's not like my favorite pick for him. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I don't like it. I think
Yeah,
she
I
I think she's pretty and everything, but I think when it comes to his, like, so we don't really know his personality. So
right.
it's like, he seems really kind of put together and standoffish, and she seems like she's a little put together too, but she has to really loosen up in order to, and then she might get a little wild. I don't know. It might
And
be too much
opposites
for her.
attract. Maybe he needs that other part, the more outgoing. Because normally in every relationship, there's somebody that's more reserved and there's somebody that's more social. Like, I'm
Yeah.
definitely the more reserved one, and my husband is the social butterfly. "Can we stay another 2 hours?" And I'm like, "We driving 2 separate cars next time." Um, so maybe he does, need to loosen up a little bit, but I'm with you though. the drink, I just can't get past, like, the constant mentioning of that. I just think, yeah, she might be a little and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I'm sure
Yeah,
she'll
that was
find
me 10 years ago, so I get it. I get
I'm
it.
sure she'll find a guy that's more loose. I think that would be more her speed. A guy that
Yeah,
likes to be more outgoing and fun. Yeah, I think he
yeah.
might be boring to her in the
I was
long
gonna
run.
say she would find herself peer pressuring him a lot in order for her to have a good time.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. And then just quick tangent. Okay. Um, so the mom so okay, let's take a step back. For Paige, the mom said, "You know what? I think she's an alpha female." And then remember Chad said, "Well, um, I just think that means that if, I dropped the ball, she would pick it up." All right, then we get to Miranda, and the mom says, "I'm concerned about that whole comment she had about hiding the money." And Chad says, "Oh, I don't think that's a red flag." And then you remember earlier with the whole promiscuous thing, she was like, "Well, I don't want you to be with somebody that's promiscuous." And Chad said, "Well, I mean, I don't think that's a red flag." I could be reading too deep. And then when you said what you said, with she doesn't really know him, because I didn't even think about that, but I was like, I wonder if there's something there. There's something happening between their dynamic that we the audience are not privy of. But it seems like every time the mom says, "I think this," he's like, "Nope, well, because nah, it's just this." Not well, nope. Like every time.
Yeah.
Like promiscuous, that's not even something to argue about. He's like, "Well, that ain't a red flag." And then when she was like, "Yeah, she might be hiding some money," most guys were like, "Yeah, that is concerning." He was like, "I mean, nah, I don't think that's a red flag." I'm like, "Chad, what do you consider a red flag?" That's
He
a bigger
hasn't
question.
been through enough. I'm telling you, you have to go through enough, or whether he would have seen it, and in his own family as a child, like
Mhm,
you have to experience things. Like if you have a friend that went through something and you had to be there for them and you seen it,
mhm.
like he hasn't been through enough to know certain things to see it as a red
Okay.
flag. You know what I'm
Okay, so you don't
saying?
think it's something against him and the mom, you just think that's okay. I was wondering if there was an
Yeah.
underlying like, I'm not saying he resents his mom, that's too strong of a term, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's something there, like, everything she said, he had to, like, come
Yeah.
back at it. I don't know. We'll
I
just
just
clock that for future
I
reference.
honestly think that he feels like sometimes children, it doesn't matter what we say as their mom, it's because we're
Mhm.
saying it. Somebody else
Mm.
can say the same exact thing that we said and they be like, oh, I got it, you're right, and you be like, oh, I just said that. So it could be that too.
Yeah, that's
it
true.
could it
Okay.
could be a different things, but I
Yeah,
do
like a
feel like,
combination, yeah. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right. It could be that,
yeah.
and then what you said too, I think in the back of his head, I think you nailed it. She's like, "She don't know me."
Hmm. Yeah, she missed
Like
that whole chunk of high school and college, so she,
yeah.
you know, she doesn't know.
Okay. So then they talk about Jasmine, and then so the mom was saying with her being a student and not knowing the direction she's going in life, that may, create a strain on the marriage, and then, of course, Chad says, "I don't think so." I was like so what are your overall thoughts on Miss Jasmine? I think we talked about that a little bit. So you were
Yeah,
saying that, you don't think she's ready for a relationship.
I think, okay, to be honest, both of them. I feel like they're both, like he's a little further career wise, but
Mhm.
as far as like experience in life and
Yeah.
relationships and stuff, like they may be on the same level. So they could grow together in that area, as long as
Yeah.
they don't start off too serious. If they start off,
Mhm.
just kind of playful and, you know, travel a
Live life
little
a little
and,
bit before they
yeah, live
have
life
kids
a
and all
little
that.
bit.
Yeah.
Yes, give her time to figure out her career and start, moving in whatever direction with that while they, just kind of have fun. I think would be cool. But
Mhm.
as far as like being serious, like I don't think neither one of them are like he wouldn't be prepared. They neither one of them would really be able to carry it where it would, would be like successful as a marriage or relationship if they I don't know, Tanisha.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm
Do you
with you
see
on
what I
that.
you see where I'm going with it? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. They're both very head smart,
yeah,
and but have you lived life? Those are two completely different things. So I
exactly.
see what you're saying there. Um and I agree. So if your son is with a young lady and she's 26 and you're like, "Oh, so what does she do?" And he's like, "Well, she really doesn't know. She's really just still trying to figure it out." Like, would you be cool with that as a mom, or how would you advise him?
I mean, I'd be cool with it as long as they're not trying to get married, like, or
Okay.
get like really serious, because I don't think that's a reason to not, get to know
Yeah.
somebody. Um, and I would hopefully, be able to meet her and be around her and stuff and just kind of see, like, is she out here just playing, or is she using my son? Because sometimes it's like that, you know, like I just to make
We'll go
sure.
a little bit deeper into that because I'm trying to learn too because I got a younger son. So how do women use the men? And of course we know if they're like really wealthy, but I'm just talking about like the everyday man.
Yeah,
How
everyday
does a
man.
woman like?
Like they could use it for small things, food, or rides, or just to call. Like I've seen, sometimes females be like, "I need my nails done. Let me see who I can." So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so
Oh, so then they'll be like,
everything.
"Hey, what you up to? You wanna get some
Yes.
food? You wanna go
Mhm.
out tonight?"
Right. What you
Okay.
doing? Yeah. So it could be anything. And sometimes guys, they like, I can see with Jasmine, or even whoever the mom was, saying red flag. In his mind, he's looking at how this person looks,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
just like James and Alicia.
Yes.
Like it's
She
so many
got 2
red
whole
flags.
kids.
Yeah, is it no, not Lexi. That's Lexi. I'm talking
Oh, my
Alicia.
bad, my bad. Yeah, you're right, right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Alicia, like she ain't ready yet. But in his mind, he's like, she's pretty. Like I want to hang out with her. I want to get to know
Right.
her.
And she's
But
gonna take all that money,
she
honey.
gonna she gonna
I
get them.
clocked that. I was like, she not gonna wanna work, she not gonna wanna do too
Mm-mm,
much. She just like,
mm-mm.
I need you to be a provider."
Yep. So yeah, I think he may be looking at how pretty Jasmine is, and she's just so cute. She is, but
Yeah,
he don't want to get rid of her yet, and
right.
that's understandable. But it's for
Yeah.
the wrong reasons, I think.
You make a good point though. If they want to just start off very slow, then I think that would be a good person to build with, to your
Yeah.
point.
Yes,
And
and she
again,
has the time. She's 26, so
yes, she would not be in a rush. We don't need to have kids tomorrow.
right.
I didn't have my first till I was 30, so they have plenty of time. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so the last one is Lauren. So mom thinks Lauren may be a nagger. Um, and then this was weird because I don't and maybe it's just the way she worded it. Because I would say this to my child, but I wouldn't say it like this. She's like, I think she may just be too much woman for you. I was like, dang. And of course, Chad,
Uh,
that got under his skin.
yeah.
He says, "You don't know what's enough for me because you haven't seen me in that type of environment." I was like, "Oh, here we go. To your point." He's like, "You don't know. You don't
You
know."
don't know me like that. Yep.
So what do you think about Lauren? I wonder how she made the judge that she's a nagger. Do you think it was because of the comment, like, with the hugging and all of that? Or I was wondering where she got that from. And I'm sure they had hours of conversation that we didn't see on camera.
Right,
Um,
right.
but what do you think about Lauren overall?
Overall, I think that she needs somebody that is like, it looks like Chad is like trying to get himself established. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And
yeah.
she needs somebody that's already there and that's ready to start a family, because he's
Mm,
still trying to build himself up. as he should. He's only 30. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
times, he's on track. But
Right, right.
for
Mhm.
her, I think she's like ready now. So for that reason, I say no. And then I did not like that comment about the fist pump hand five. Like I didn't like that at all. Um, and I feel like that could be why the mom said something about nagging, possibly because
Mhm.
if she feels that way about that, then
Mm. There's more where that comes from.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, totally agree with you on Lauren. The age was my big thing. When you're 35, and if you're 35 and you have a kid or two, then you probably cool. But if you don't have any kids and you want a family, like we talked about earlier, she's gonna be putting so much pressure on him. And yeah, so I don't think that's a good way to start. And was she the one that said she wants to find somebody's son just to start a family? I don't know if that was her or one of the other ones, but
I think she was. I think that was her. I think so.
yeah, so that concerns me. To your point, I think she needs to get with somebody that like we need to they're on the fast track pretty much. Like we're
Hmm.
gonna date and within 9 months to a year we're gonna be engaged type thing.
Yeah.
Um Yeah, but yeah, that was interesting. I don't know. Again, I just think they got something going. I don't know why she said it like that. I wouldn't talk to my son like that, especially he's grown. Because I mean, I
Yeah.
think she may be too much woman for you. I would be like, you know what, your personality is more, you're more soft spoken. Has a more assertive personality. Do you think y'all would mesh? I would probably say it like that. But
Hmm.
not everybody's me, more people some people are more forward, so
Yeah.
but, when you're coming at a man's, masculinity, I just think you gotta be gentle, and she
Yeah.
just went all in because I think she too much woman for you. Like, dang.
That's because she don't know him like that. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't talk to your child like that about certain things unless y'all got that type of relationship. You
That
know what
you're
I'm
right, they
saying?
don't have a relationship for that, you right.
Yeah, we have to like talk about other things in a way to where it's like, I'm just playing, but you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm
Right.
saying.
She
But
stood on
I don't
it.
think they have that type of, that bond
Mhm.
there yet. I don't think they have that yet.
Yeah, okay, so she is the one that's going to make the decisions and the choices. I wonder if, because watching all 3 episodes, I don't know if they just playing up for the cameras, but the guys seemed to be surprised that their mom was gonna be the one picking. Were you feeling
Yeah,
that too? Like they were
I
surprised?
got that too. It seemed like a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering, I was like, "I thought y'all signed up for the show," but maybe they didn't tell them all of the particulars because they were
Yeah,
both like,
probably.
"Are you picking?"
Hmm. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so
out of
then
all of them, I think Chad is the most scared because he's just
oh,
like,
because she don't know him, you
yeah, you
right.
don't, you about to just make, you gonna mess this up for me.
He was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, no, I wouldn't have brought you on here. I didn't know she get to make the decisions."
He should have bought dad. I'm telling you, he should have bought dad.
So, dun, dun, dun. Who did you think was going home? I mean to ask you that before I revealed it.
I thought Lauren, hold on, who went home?
Miranda.
Okay, okay. I thought Lauren was going to go home for sure, but it was definitely between Miranda and Lauren, because of the whole put the money to the side thing. But I thought Lauren was going to go home for her age, honestly. But I think she'll be
Oh,
next. I think she'll be next
okay,
because
okay. I
I
don't
think
know
with
why. I thought Jasmine was going home
really
'cause I just thought she didn't give enough. Like, I
she
can't even remember
didn't.
anything she said, like, the whole time.
She was just cute. She was just really cute, and you could tell that she has a presence where she really doesn't have to say a lot. That's what I think.
Mm.
Because like I said, as soon as she walked up, everybody they just knew. But I do think that I think Paige and Jasmine are going to be the last two
Yeah,
standing.
yeah, I can see that, I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I really didn't know who she was gonna send ho I knew Paige wasn't going home, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't have been shocked for the other 3. Like you said,
Yeah.
Miranda was doing way too much. Jasmine, I don't think she was talking, and then when she did get a question, she still couldn't talk. And then, and then Lauren because of the age. So, yeah, it was a toss up for me, but
Yeah.
understood that Miranda went home. Um, and so this is the dynamic, right? In the other episode with James, remember James really liked Alicia, because that's probably the girl he always goes for.
Mhm.
The mom knows this. The mom does not think Alicia is best for him. But you see what she did, she kept Alicia. You see what I'm saying? Because she was
Mhm.
like, I don't want you to check out of this whole process.
Yeah, because
Now,
that's
I'm not gonna choose
exactly
her in
what.
the end,
Mhm.
but so then you look at this dynamic, he really liked Miranda, he kept saying that, or at least to us in his confessionals, but she immediately, "Yeah, Miranda's gone." And you could see, he had an issue with that, so I'm wondering if that's gonna unravel their relationship, if he's gonna be kinda mad at her for that. I think she should have played it like James's mom played it.
Mhm.
Like, "I'm definitely not choosing her in the end, but I know this is probably somebody he likes, so Imma keep her." So what did you think about her selecting Miranda? You think she made the right decision?
I feel like she had enough reason to with the drinking and the, that comment, but it was kind of, I think it would have been hard for her either way because no matter who she said he had a reason why, like, no, because this, oh
Oh,
no,
yeah,
like,
that's true.
so she really didn't have anything to, you know,
Yeah, he would've been mad no matter
either
who,
way.
probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But to
Yeah.
your point, maybe she shoulda did Lauren.
Yeah. I think
I think
Lauren,
that would've been a safe bet, yeah. With
yeah.
the age and everything, he probably wouldn't have been too mad.
Mhm. I think so. I think so.
Yeah, so overall, this was a really good episode. So I'm excited. So we've met all of the guys now. We know all the 3 women for each of the guys. So it should really get good from here on out. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited about that to see the episodes coming. It should move a little quicker. So I think it's
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. So.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining me, cuz. And
Yes, no problem.
yeah, so we'll be back with episode 4 next week. See y'all.
Bye.